along and let's get into it.
Thanks, Russell. So, hey, tēnā koutou. I'm really pleased to be here. Ko Mike, Paranihi taku ingoa, ko tongariro te maunga, ko taupua nui te moana, ko tuwharetoa te iwi, ko parikawa te hapu, ko paukura te marae, ko Cisco Systems te mahi. So I'm here today to give you a conversation about how we're going to connect in today's world. And I was reminded last night, because I live on the north shore of Auckland, up in a town called Kopakapa. It takes me about an hour to get to the airport, and Russell very, very kindly reminded me that he can get to the Auckland International Airport faster than I can. And so coming down here, and it was 19 degrees when I landed yesterday. It was really beautiful. It was nice and warm. And this morning, the sun is out shining again. So I understand why Gisborne is such a great place, not only to live, but with the connections we're making today, it's a great place to work and reach out to the world from here. So again, I'm really, really pleased to be here and give you some information about how Cisco uses video to connect across the globe and drive more productivity for our employees, and then give you a view of the Internet of Everything. So has anyone here heard of the term Internet of Everything yet? No? Apart from Russell. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you for about 30 to 40 minutes. Hopefully I can give some time for Q&A. But please, if you have a question, just put your hand up and I'll be happy to answer it during the conversation. So who is Mike? Well, I'm a Commodore 64 generation kid. I think I got my first computer when I was 8. So that's 1978. And I remember getting magazines and writing lines of code to try and create computer games where I could fly little airplanes around little things. And that was an interesting experience. And I learned then that I wasn't a very good computer programmer. And I've spent the last 15 years in IT. And pretty much I have spent most of my career in leading projects and programs and teams. And I'm at a point now in my career where I'm a director of IT at Cisco Systems. I'm the service owner for data center facilities and data center as a service. And really what that means is I'm responsible for 32 data centers across the globe. And there's a little picture here of pretty much where they're located. I'm off to Australia next week because we're upgrading one of our facilities there to enable it to be virtualized, which really helps us put capabilities in there to drive applications from the cloud. So I spend about $50 million a year on managing, maintaining, and running these data centers. So it's a pretty exciting job. It takes me all over the world, but I do it here from New Zealand, and I do it out of Auckland. And there's a number of ways that I do that. And so I connect using Cisco's technologies. And the picture on the left depicts our office. And the office is, this is our large immersive telepresence capability. And on the very far left screen, I'm connecting to a team in San Jose, California. In the middle screen, I'm talking to a team who are based in Raleigh, North Carolina. And on the right is my colleague Anil, who's based in Bangalore, India, and that's his home office. And unbelievably, he gets faster and better bandwidth than I do in Auckland out of Bangalore in India. And at a cheaper rate. I think it's $20 US a month for UFB. So you can imagine UFB is actually bringing down the price and commoditizing the cost of actually being able to connect, even in places like India. The picture on the right was taken yesterday morning. You see it's dark outside. It was 5 o'clock in the morning when I took that picture, and that's because I'm working across time zones. Luckily I'm working with the East Coast, so it's only 3 hours time difference, but yesterday, so I'm always working in the future, according to my colleagues. But that's what we call a Cisco Extended Office. So in the middle is our big EX90 high definition 720p video conferencing unit. I have my laptop, which I use with WebEx video sharing. under the picture of my wife and my kids is a Cisco router 890 series, which provides wireless broadband across my house so I can connect using my corporate network. And then I have my IP telephone, which provides low-cost calling rates anywhere in the world using the Cisco network. So we call that an extended office, and I have the exact same setup in my desk in the Auckland office. So I'm able to work at home, in the office, flexibly, and when I need to. And we have found at Cisco being able to provide that level of flexibility really helps the employees be more productive. It actually drives the employees to want to work for Cisco because of the flexibility that offers. Yesterday I did miss my kids' parent-teacher day because I had to come down here. But being able to take time off, go and interact as you need to across your life and then work when you need to, I think provides a lot of flexibility. And I don't have to be I live in Kaukopakapa. I'm 50 kilometres north of Auckland. The UFB has connected up our local school. I'm still too far away from the cabinet to be able to get fibre. So they're putting me on ADSL2+, and I can still drive high-def video conferencing using that capability, because all I need is 512 kilobytes uplink speed. The download speed, we've got enough of that. It's the uplink speed that we really need to think about as we connect across the world, because if you're going to do business from locations like this, it's about how much information you can push out. It's like exporting products. So video at Cisco has a unique value for us, and we've been on a video journey for about 10 years. And I remember back in 2002, video conferencing was appalling. It was pretty bad. But now we're finding video is a way for us to connect on many levels. This is Show and Share. It's our corporate YouTube site. If I searched in there, there's probably a number of videos that I've developed, and I use that as messaging to my team across the globe. So I've got a number of reports in the US and Australia and Tokyo, and I can't be in all of those locations at once, but I can be if we create videos and publish them. And at Cisco, we use video for learning tutorials. We use video for driving company meetings. We use video for product demonstrations. We use video for executive messaging. We do training with it. We actually bring in the community. And one of the things that we do, I think is kind of neat, is every Christmas, because we've got so many high definition immersive video conferencing units set up across the globe, we'll have family members connect from Scotland to Sydney or London to New Zealand, and we bring them in for Christmas meetings, and the family sit down and they have a Christmas lunch or a Christmas breakfast and dinner together. So it's kind of neat. And it really is immersive video, because we call it sort of almost high fidelity engagement. And high fidelity engagement, right now I'm high fidelity with you, it's real, I can reach out and touch you. With our immersive video, we've got spatial audio, so you can actually hear people walk across the room and they could be in the other side of the world. So it is actually quite amazing. But what amazes me the most is when I bring in young kids, I bring in my kids and their schools, friends, and we bring in other primary schools. They all sit down, we connect them with kids over in Sydney or in London, and they all go, oh yeah, I see this on TV, this must be easy. Right? So it's quite amazing about how the younger generation are taking on board technology like this. It really is something that they're growing up with, and they're being wired differently than we ever were as the technology gets rolled out. So we use video pervasively in Cisco systems, and we know that it does drive productivity. We've done some studies on it. We do surveys every time we conduct video conferencing, and we know that productivity increases by 26%. We know that our employee retention is based around 15%. I mean, I've worked at Cisco for 11 years, and I'm almost part of the furniture now. And I know a lot of colleagues that have got a large network, and the continued conversations we have is, why would we go anywhere else when we get the flexibility and the technology we need to be able to conduct business across the globe? And providing video is one of the key drivers for keeping your employees happy, keeping them productive. And I can connect on my home telepresence unit. I don't actually have to jump in the car and drive the hour it takes to get into the office. So that's saving me 2 hours, 1 hour there, 1 hour back every day, which would be dead time, pretty much. So it does provide real productivity. And I did enjoy my commute this morning. I thought it was quite nice, just driving up Tralders Road, and there was no traffic. It was amazing. Another good reason to come here. So video is booming at Cisco. We've got over 100,000 or 200,000 IP phones with video installed. We've got immersive video where we've got 100,000 calls every three months. We have shared over 2 million streams of video across the corporation. We have 6,000 high-def video cameras installed. We run large virtual events, and I'll get into that a little bit later. We have instant messaging in Jabber, which is sort of a cloud-based video. It's almost like Skype, but with instant messaging enabled, and video and Cisco WebEx, which is video sharing and meeting capabilities. But the way we put it together makes it integrated and easy to use for all of our employees. And that's the key, because technology for technology's sake is no good to anyone. It has to be simple to use, and it has to be able to be used in many different ways. And I think Apple really did it well with the iPhone. They really brought the ease of use and simplicity to technology that has been missing for a number of years. And even today, I think there's a high expectation now from consumers that technology needs to be easy to use. Now, video enables and enhances our collaboration experience. And collaboration is on a number of levels. There's the way we design our classrooms for kids to bump into each other and collaborate. It's the way we're starting to design our workplaces so we can have areas where people can congregate and collaborate. There's even talk of having corridors where employees have to bump into each other to be able to talk. And that's all good and well if you're on the campus, but with globally distributed companies like Cisco, we've used video to strengthen a number of relationships and networks across the globe. So I can actually get on a video conference and eyeball one of my employees or one of my bosses anytime I want. And 65% of all communication is done non-verbally. It's with body language. And several years ago, I used to present to a senior vice president who's still quite very high up at Cisco now, he's got even further. And he was notorious for, if your presentation wasn't interesting him, he would look down, he'd pull out his phone, he would start playing on his phone, and he just wouldn't listen. Now, if I was just doing a telephone conference, I would never have known that. I would have just plowed straight on through my presentation and thought I'd got my message across. But with video, I'm able to actually detect when he stopped looking. He's pulled out his phone, he started to play with it, and so I would change my message and then get his attention again. And so it does really enable you to change your conversation from a different part of the globe very easily. And it does build that interaction and trust that can be missing if you're just doing it down the end of a telephone. And so at Cisco, there's 64,000 employees. We've got over 300 locations across the globe in 70 countries. We've deployed over 1,000 rooms for video conferencing at Cisco. We've run over 1 million meetings through these devices. And based on the survey, we know that we've avoided over 250,000 of travel trips. Now, 2005, 2006, I was on a plane from Auckland once every 4 to 6 weeks. And you can imagine the sort of impact that that has on your family life and your family. And people in the planes and the check-in staff, they got to know me really, really well. Once we started bringing out this video, my travel dropped down to once every 3 months. Now it's at a point where I've actually lost my gold card, and that's okay. I'll line up for 20 minutes in a queue if I can spend that extra time at home with my family. And it makes a big difference for global working these days, having great video technology where you can connect with your colleagues across the globe. We've avoided $1 billion worth of travel cost at Cisco, and those are real numbers. Just make sure I don't lock out. And you know, we've had huge productivity savings, and based on the travel we've avoided, we've put a green number in there now. You can argue whether that's true or not, but we've saved ourselves 560 tonnes of emissions. And our utilisation rates are quite high. And we run a lot of metrics around the use of our technology. And it's really around how we've deployed them and where we've deployed them across the globe. So which rooms have got these large units, which rooms have smaller units. And our utilisation rates for our large room units for 18 people seater rooms, where you can have them connecting together. You have nearly 50 people connecting in a collaboration, high-def video experience. Rates are up around 80%. The smaller rooms, one sort of screen rooms, or even the TP rooms like the one I've got in my office at home, we're running at about 50%. So the business value we get out of a lot of just connecting via video is huge for Cisco. So there's a number of options and solutions that we offer. I'm not a sales guy, but I'm an IT guy, but I can tell you about it. From a one-to-one perspective, you can see on the bottom there, we've got 12,000 desktop and videos, 15,000 IP phones. All you need is 512 kilobytes uplink. Right? You can get the standard definition. If you want to go a little bit higher, you get a 1 megabyte per second uplink. That's when you can start needing to get into VDSL, maybe get some direct connections. Once you start getting up to 2 to 4 megabits uplink, that's when you're going to start to need to see some of the USB fiber. It's great to hear that you've already got it here. Right? So you can enable some of these 720p high-def conferencing today. Probably what you'll see at home, and a lot of the TV companies are now bringing out video cameras, high-def video cameras embedded into the TVs, is that grandma and the grandkids will be connecting across cities using their TVs. And that's going to be based on the amount of bandwidth that you can get at home. That's where I think the future of video is going to be for the consumer, and it's going to be an exciting time. Because I know my grandkids, or my kid's grandmother lives in Christchurch, and at the moment she flies up once every 6 weeks to come and see them. Well, she won't need to do that anymore. She's going to be able to connect to them live. And you know, Skype can only get us so far. And I think once you actually see how high-def video really works, it does change your viewpoint on the experience of video. The many-to-many, the immersive telepresence screens, they aren't cheap. They're quite expensive, and the big companies do have to really think long and hard about the value. But we know at Cisco, we get a lot of value out of doing that. Again, I was on a plane a lot. I'm now no longer on a plane, and I love it. I love the fact that I can be at home. So we've seen the growth of video and the deployments change. It started off with these large immersive units, and as video got more pervasive and people really started to understand how to use it, we saw the increase in terms of just single unit videos being dropped onto people's desks. And it's grown markedly. And if you think about the younger generation today, in terms of using FaceTime, they just whip out their iPods or they'll whip out their phones and they'll FaceTime, and they're just using a Vodafone network or a telecom network to be able to connect via FaceTime. They are much more ready to adopt video on a much bigger scale than we are. And we know that's coming. So in terms of the workforce and how you're going to need to start developing for the future workforce, you need to be thinking about how you can provide these types of capabilities for the workforce coming through. So just a little bit about our virtual events. The big picture on the left is the global sales meeting that they used to have, and they used to run it in Las Vegas. It was a great event to go to. It was usually the extracurricular activities that used to make it the most fun. But a couple of times they had, they used to get some rock stars that come along, and they had Aerosmith at one of the events. I remember going to an Oracle event in San Francisco, and they had Elton John. But it's all changed. We no longer have these large corporate gatherings where we get 15,000 employees together. We start running these virtual events where we'll get a much more intimate setting, where you'll have a room like this with 3 big screens, and we're bringing in Bangalore, and we're bringing in somewhere, maybe could be bringing in Auckland, bringing in London. And they're in rooms like this as well, and we're actually connecting employees through video, through high-def immersive video. And it is changing the way, pretty much how we conduct our meetings and how we drive a lot of cost saving into connecting our organisations. And you know, the reason why would you get a whole bunch of people together? Because you need to set direction for the corporation. You need to get everyone to march in the same direction towards a strategy. And it's hard to do, or much harder to do if you just try and disseminate it down through the management layers. It's much easier to get everyone together, have a bit of fun, and set everyone off on the direction for the year. So, what do we get out of it? Well, we're saving a lot of money now by doing it virtually. Well, it used to be to send everyone to GSX, $4,300. That's on average. That's plane rides, hotel accommodation, and food. Now, by connecting virtually, it's costing only $437 US. I mean, that's nearly a $4,000 saving per employee. That's a huge saving to our bottom line by using video. Similarly, for senior leadership experience, as a director, they used to fly us all in once a year, and we're saving, you know, nearly over $2,000 a year on these types of events. So video does improve the bottom line if it's used correctly. And the core value that we see around video is it does reduce your travel. It does optimise your employee productivity. You know, I am not stuck on a motorway every day. I don't have to be. I can actually work from home, connect to the US, and then if I have to come into Auckland, then I'll come into Auckland. If I don't, I won't. It does speed up decision making because we're able to connect faster, and you're able to pick up those non-verbal clues, and you're able to make decisions over video more rapidly. And it transforms business models. So it's driving a lot of cost out of our business, it's helping us make decisions faster, and we're actually seeing the explosion of different ways Cisco is doing business. And really this slide is just to reinforce the fact that we've saved a lot of money. We've saved over $1 billion worth of cost out of our business. So we've driven it mainly through travel, reducing our travel, but driving employee productivity in a number of those activities.
And what period is the savings?
This is a 6-year period, so from 2006 to 2012. So there's a lot of, in 2007, 2008, we went through the global financial crisis. So this helped us drive a lot of cost out of the business and helped steady the ship a little bit. And we continue to see these cost savings as we walk through the upswing that we're going through now. So it's all about getting an integrated experience. So from being synchronous and asynchronous, we've seen a move from starting with email to telephone to driving some video to get to in-person capabilities where using video is providing an integrated experience for employees. Too many animations on that one. To drive much more integrated experience. And really what this slide is telling you is it's about not just the technology. Technology for technology's sake doesn't work. It's all about the process and the culture. And the culture is the people. Because if it's not easy to use, people aren't going to use it. If it has too many steps in it and you upstate the process doesn't work, people are not going to use it. So as we design our technology to be used, we think about people, process and the culture around how we drive technology change into business and into everything we do. And we know that just chucking technology over the wall and expecting someone to use it without any training or behaviour updates or showing the value or adding value to the business is never ever going to work. So when you think about implementing technology into your business, you need to be thinking about the impacts to your employees, to your customers, and how that is going to change your business process for the better or for the worse. Because sometimes the adoption curve can actually degrade your business for a short amount of time whilst you then get the benefits out of that. So you really need to be thinking about when you implement technology, it is all about people and culture and process.
Just an update with timing, folks. We are a little bit behind time, but we'll do maybe a changeover at 2:45, if that's okay with you, Mike.
Yep. Let me push through this. There's not too many more. So this is the future of our workforce. This is a college in the US. I'm sure if I walked into Auckland Uni, I would see the same. Everyone's got a laptop. When I went to university, I had a little notebook, and then I was forced to use WordPress to try and type out these things. It used to take me days. Now everything's done instantaneously. And we need to develop solutions for our new workforce coming through. And it's about what are their expectations? Well, their expectations around mobile and social. And they want to connect socially. They want to connect with Facebook. They want to have that capability in the workforce. They want to use mobile in the workforce. And some of the studies we've done, they've told us that if they're not allowed to connect to Facebook or Twitter, they won't take the job. And they'll take a lower paying job if we enable them to have whatever device they want. Very interesting types of studies that have been done with the new workforce coming through. All the millennials we're starting to see hit the workforce. We're getting to a point where we've got generations of boomers, Gen Xers and millennials in the workforce today. So we really need to be thinking about what that means. And so we started a journey on bring your own device, and it's really around the consumeration of IT, about how can we implement a capability where anyone can bring a Samsung device or an Apple device or a Nokia device or their own laptop to the workforce. And it scares the bejesus out of most IT professionals, because how do you make it secure? Well, it's policy based and things like that. But we embarked on this journey, and we've been on the journey for a number of years to a point now where we've got different types of corporate laptops, both Macs and Lenovo's. We've got a number of VXI endpoints, but on the bottom, we've deployed 13,000 iPads, we've deployed 28,000 iPhones, we've deployed 8,000 Samsung devices, and we've given the choice to the employee for the device they want to use. And that's how you're going to capture the next workforce. You need to make sure that you provide the platform that enables them to use the technology they want to use to get the job you need them to do done better and faster. And so we know that the internet is changing, and the rate of change is happening very, very quickly. And we believe that we're actually going through another transition of the internet right now. And by 2020, there's going to be 50 billion devices connected to the internet. When you think about it, between 2010 and 2012, we had nearly 1.7 million applications get deployed to the app stores for both Google and Apple. Being a traditional IT person, it used to take me 3, 6, 9 months to deploy one application. Now with the power of the world creating applications, the amount of change that's occurring and the amount of applications that are being deployed by people from everywhere across the globe, you've got a factor of 10 to 20 times the amount of capabilities being deployed into the cloud. It's actually amazing about the rate of change that's occurring. And we know that there's been more data created in 2012 than in the last 5,000 years, right? From starting off from writing hieroglyphics to printing paper to making books to now, the amount of data that's been created is incredible. And the amount of devices that are going to be connected to the internet will outnumber people by next year. And that means there's a huge change in role of IT, because we have to work with the consumeration of IT, the amount of data, mobile, cloud capabilities that have been driven out, and that changes the expectations of a lot of people in terms of how IT needs to deliver those services. And the evolution of the internet pretty much started, about 20 years ago, right? We first just connected and it was a one-way transaction. I connected, I got some information, and it's like reading a book. Then it went into a networked economy where we were actually able to use e-commerce and do transactions online and automate supply chain processing. Now we're currently in an immersive experience phase. We're on the third bullet. And each phase was built upon the last one. And we're in this immersive experience where we've got two-way interaction. We've got Facebook, where you can now post updates and get updates back. You can push video into YouTube and get video back. So we're now in an immersive experience with digital experiences in the internet. The next phase is the Internet of Everything. And the Internet of Everything is how, again, we connect people, process large amounts of data, and things together. So the things are digitizing. 99% of those things that are unconnected are going to be connected today or tomorrow. In fact, some of these things are getting connected right now. And we know that by 2017, nearly 50% of the world's population is going to be connected to the internet, which is huge. And generally, it's going to be done through mobile. We also know that by 2017, everyone's going to have, on average, 5 devices. I've got 3 today. I've got my iPad, I've got my laptop, and I've got my mobile. But my car's probably going to be connected. My TV's, I know my TV at home is connected to the internet. I've got Apple TVs at home as well that connect to the internet. So my stereo system even connects to the internet to get internet radio. So the amount of devices we're going to have connected is increasing markedly. And we know that by 2017, 50% of all devices being connected are not just PCs, it's things. And there are going to be 6 billion machine-to-machine connections by 2017. And so what that means that there's going to be huge amounts of data being pushed across the networks. And speeds and feeds are changing, right? They're increasing. Today we've got about 11 megabits per second at home. By 2017, on average, we'll have about 39 megabits per second down and up. But some people, and I think from what I heard this morning, you're going to be the lucky ones. There's going to be 100 megabits per second with UFB fiber, and that's going to change how we interact with the internet, what gets connected to the internet. And there are sensors everywhere. There's going to be sensors in the field to send messages wirelessly back to home about the hydration in the soil, to tell the farmer that they need to turn on the sprinkler system to feed their crops. There are things connected to the internet today, like Philips Hue, where I can screw it in, and I can change the colour, set the tone, and do it all from my iPhone. The Fuel Band is a device that you can wear, and it will wirelessly connect to the internet and send back to Nike information about how you walk, and then it can send you reports on you needed to walk more today. Right? And Nest is a device you can put into your home, and it will help control your home automation system. So many things are getting connected more and more every day. So the machine-to-machine connections are going to be making more decisions for us to make our lives better than we've ever heard before. And what that is going to drive is zettabytes of traffic. Does anyone know what a zettabyte is?
It's big.
It's big. So the analogy is that if a gigabyte was a cup of coffee, a zettabyte would be all those cups of coffee put together to build the Great Wall of China. A zettabyte is 6 trillion bytes. By 2017, there's going to be 1.4 zettabytes traversing our network across the globe. That's more than the last 20 years, nearly 20 years. So the amount of change occurring in terms of network traffic is huge. And we need people from across the globe to be able to help manage this change. We need IT professionals. We need locations like Gisborne to be able to provide resources into this next generation of the internet. And when you look at the monthly exabyte rates, Asia Pacific is where it's at. China and India have the largest growing sort of middle class in the world. They want TVs, they want dishwashers, and they want to be able to connect to the internet. And living in New Zealand is a great opportunity for us. So, that's it. Tomorrow starts here, connecting the unconnected. Thank you for your time.